Can you hear me, Andy?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Hi, Julia. How are you? You have to hit *6 to unmute. I'm not hearing you. Hi, Gary. I was wondering what project you were representing or interested in. And you're muted, so you hit *6 to unmute.
All right, Andy, it's 4 o'clock. I'm going to open up the meeting and then we'll determine if we got a quorum. And then you can do the housekeeping as who's where. Okay. All right. It's 4 o'clock. I'll open the regularly scheduled meeting of the Jefferson County Planning Board. Call that meeting to order. We are conducting the meeting over Zoom. And Andy, you've got some legal paragraph to put in the front there concerning our ability to hold these on Zoom. Okay. All right. Now I'm looking at, I got 5 people: John, Dwight, Art, Randy, and Charlene. Is there anybody else from the planning board here?
I'm on the
Who's that?
line. This is Cliff Schneider on the phone.
Cliff, are you there?
Yes, I'm on the phone.
Okay, good. So we got 6. Okay, that's, we do have a quorum present, so we can conduct business. Okay. All right. Andy, you do all this housekeeping stuff you need to do.
Okay, so first of all, it's a Google Meet system, and we're recording it because when we do virtual meetings in New York State, you have to record it. So I'm just letting you know we're recording this. Also, if you haven't already, please make sure you're in the chat so that we can keep track of your names and also what projects you might be interested in or representing.
Okay.
I do have at least one applicant, maybe 2. Gary Bass represents the Town of Watertown Self-Storage Project. And then I saw another name, now I don't see it on the screen. I think her name was Dallas. Maybe you can let us know what project.
Deb just joined the thing, so we got a quorum plus 1 now.
Okay.
Good going, Deb.
Not sure if I'm supposed to introduce myself, but I'm Dallas Manson from Nexamp. I'm here with Gary Bass for the drop zone storage application.
Okay, very good. So we usually try to adjust the agenda for applicants who are on the call sort of in order, in a sense. And then I know we have the Town of Lyme Councilwoman on the call, so maybe we could do Town of Watertown project, then Town of Lyme, and then we would do Hounsfield. I know TV7 person Sandra is interested in that project. And then Craig Fox, I'm not sure which one he's interested in, but is that a fair assessment of our agenda juggling? Yes, okay.
Okay.
So I think that's all of our housekeeping.
Okay.
So should we start with the projects?
Oh, wait a minute, I got a few things to do according to the agenda here, Andy.
All right.
Okay, the meeting, I established a quorum. First order of business is the approval and acceptance and approval, I guess, of the minutes from the February 22nd meeting. Are there any questions, comments, or need for changes? If not, I'll make a motion that the minutes of the February 22nd meeting be approved. Is there a second?
Art Gatterman seconds it.
Okay, Art, good. All right. Communications, anybody write to us, Andy, or anything?
Actually, we did receive some correspondence on one of the projects. Maybe I can mention that during the project.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Anybody else wish to address the board on any matter other than the agenda items for today? No? Okay. All right. Now, new business, general municipal law 239M referrals. Okay. All right. You're going to take the town of Watertown first, Andy?
Yes. It'll be
Okay.
Sarah Frieda.
All right. Okay, go to it, Sarah.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay. Andy, what about the slides?
It's good.
Okay. All right, just trying to find my pointer here. Okay, this is a site plan review for a storage facility located on County Route 202 in the town of Watertown. Not actually on here, but if you follow my pointer, hopefully it's showing up on that location map. The site is located, here's County Route 202. Here's Salmon Run Mall. Here's Walmart, Sam's, and Autumn Ridge Apartments. So this site is just north of Autumn Ridge Apartments. The site is zoned neighborhood commercial, which allows storage units with site plan review. And the project is surrounded mostly by vacant land and some multifamily residents, which I just mentioned is Autumn Ridge Apartments. This is the site right here on County Route 202. I'm on County Route 202. I'm looking west. This is Cedar, I think it's called Cedar Way, maybe. That's the first street into Autumn Ridge. You can see with the arrow, I'm trying to identify the area where the project site is. It's currently being, the trees are being removed. Here I'm on that Cedar Way, which is part of Autumn Ridge. You can see the site is right over here. I'm looking north. This is the site from 202, kind of looking west. You can see just the tops of the buildings at Autumn Ridge over here. And there's the site. There's some of the tree removal they did. And this is an existing little bit of a driveway that's here. You can see the driveway better over here. And there's the site right there. I'm looking now towards Autumn Ridge and Sam's Club way back here. This is the little driveway that's there currently. This is Autumn Ridge. You can see they have backyards, a little bit of a slope going upward towards the site. This is the back of Autumn Ridge. The site is way up here, and Route 202 is way up here. I'm in the back looking to the east. This is the site plan that was submitted by the applicant. It shows a driveway access here. It's a little bit wider than what we usually see. It also shows 3 parking spaces located within the driveway. There's another 3 parking spaces over here on the far side of the proposed office building. This is a proposed office building. These are 3 storage buildings. I believe they're all similar in size. They're about 30 feet by 150 feet each. That'd be 4,500 square feet. each. And each one of these buildings contains 3 types of units. There's going to be 12 5-foot by 10-foot units. There'll be 13, or they're on the ends. There'll be 13 10 by 10 units and 13 10 by 20 units. Back here, there's a warehouse proposed that's 40 feet by 60 feet or 2,400 square foot. They show truck movements, I believe, right here and how they can navigate getting in and out of that warehouse. There are wall packs for lighting proposed on each building, and the office and the warehouse, I highlighted those in yellow. This line here identifies the gravel area, but I'm not exactly sure where the extent of it is because the line goes all the way out to the street, but it ends here. This hatched area along the southern boundary, this is labeled as a 15-foot Nexamp easement. Most of you will remember a couple months ago, and then almost maybe over 6 months ago, we reviewed Nexamp's solar project over there on Floral Drive. It's going to have an easement to do the final connection to the utilities along the southern border of this self-storage property. The office building up front appears to be approximately 800 square feet. It's got some proposed landscaping along the front, but the plans don't specify any plants, brushes, trees, I don't know what they are. The site is served by public water. However, the plans do not address water and sewer hookups, if applicable, I don't even know. The plans also included, they state down here, there's a solid 6-foot high wood fence right along there. And there's a 4-foot wide crushed stone walkway all along the front. It's parallel to Route 202, kind of right next to the ditch, I guess. After we received this plan, we learned that Nexamp has applied for a commercial driveway permit with the County Highway Department. And I just want to note that the plans that Nexamp submitted are more detailed than these plans, and in some areas they differ. For example, the width of this easement down here on the Nexamp plans is identified as between 20 and 45 feet wide, like 45 feet wide out here and 20 feet in the back, not 15 feet, these plans indicate. On the Nexamp plan, boy, that's a mouthful. There are not these parking spaces in the driveway, and the driveway is a little tighter. It actually looks more like, a driveway should. The Nexamp plans also identify the location of the pad-mounted equipment, the utility equipment, which is out here in this easement. They also state that the utility connection line, like from this end of the property all the way out to here, is underground. And eventually that those lines will tie into the power on 202, which will be an above ground tie-in right here. These are some colored elevations of the storage units. They look like your typical storage unit that we see around here. Let's see. They're red roof, roll up, white doors, and light stone metal panels. This is the warehouse building that you'd see towards the rear of the property. And this is the office building that you would see in the front of the property. As far as comments go, a Jefferson County building permit will be required. Stormwater pollution prevention plan is required. And then I mentioned the County Highway Department received a request from Nexamp for a commercial driveway permit for access to their easement. Nexamp submitted plans do not match the site plan for the storage facility. The local board should require the applicant to submit a revised site plan that accurately depicts the access to the proposed project. And a permit from the County Highway Department is required for any driveway, regardless of who's applying for it. The site plan should address any utility connections or locations of specific septic systems or water hookups. The applicant should address drainage. The local board should ensure that the neighboring parcels and county highway are not impacted. And in the neighborhood commercial zoning district, it requires access points onto a main highway to maintain a 500-foot separation. The local board should consider relocation of the driveway or driveways to the center of the site to allow a single access for the entire site. I know that might not be possible with NextAmp's plans. And then landscape buffering shall be provided along the front yard, a 35 to 50 foot in width, and the side yard 30 feet in width. A row of vegetation is proposed directly in front of the office. However, the proposed plantings are not identified. The proposed NextAmp 15-foot wide easement along the southern property line may conflict with the side yard landscaping requirements. The local board should address if the proposed landscaping meets the intent of the zoning law. The proposed pedestrian pathway along the 202 should be landscaped as required by the zoning law. And it appears there are 3 parking spaces located within the proposed driveway south of the office. The local board should request the applicant modify this. And the site plan should fix all proposed or existing driveways. And the lighting shall be dark sky compliant, and the signs, if applicable, shall be monument style. Any questions on that?
The applicant offer any comments on just what Sarah said?
Nope, just taking it all in. It's nothing, that we handle. Can you hear?
Mhm. Yeah, we can hear you, Gary.
Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, good. I wasn't sure if you could hear me or not.
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. No, sounds good. Whatever you guys need, just let me know.
Okay.
Sarah, I will identify one thing. NextAmp had submitted the driveway permit for that southern area. And Gary actually already applied for that and received that last year. We submitted it in error. We didn't realize that Gary had already submitted it. So that application will be removed. But yeah, Gary already has that driveway entrance approved.
So does he have 2 driveways?
Yes, I have two
Yeah.
Okay.
approved. Yes.
Okay, so obviously you'd want to update your site plan to reflect any existing or proposed driveways. It's,
Okay. I
you know,
can
it's
do.
hard to review if we don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. No.
Is this
Thank you.
parcel here just one parcel? What are you going to do with the rest of that land or
It's
what
one
have you?
and I would like to eventually develop the whole thing as storage. I just don't have enough money to do it all at once. That's all. It's just me. Unless somebody wants to buy in on it, then looking for a partner.
All right, just for my own information then, if everybody comes in that southern driveway, how do they access their individual places? And is there enough room to back a truck up and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, yes, absolutely. There's plenty of room to drive in between each of the storage units. There's 30 feet in between each of the storage units. That easement's not going to affect anyone. None of the NextAmp equipment is going to be in the way of anybody loading or unloading stuff into their storage units.
So those 3 car parking areas on each side of the office building, they're not going to impede a guy accessing his storage area?
No, they're not.
Okay.
I believe there's about, I have to look here.
It's 20 feet.
There's 20 feet in between the, um, office building and the storage units. There's plenty of room there.
All right. Anybody else? Questions, comments? Okay. Staff has recommended that this is a project of local concern only, with our comments, as stated, to return to the local municipality. Again, staff made recommendations, project of local concern only. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Deb or John? Who did?
Darlene.
Okay, excuse me. Darlene, second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, that project is going back to the local planning board then to address these comments that we've made. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, who's up next, Andy?
I think it'll be Town of Lyme project, and I'll attempt to grab this and present it. Okay. So we're in the Town of Lyme, and let me grab the file. That would help. So the project is on State Route 12E, New York State 12E, just west of 3 Mile Bay. So right in here, just beyond Swamp Road. And it's proposed by Jeffrey Cohen, or 3 Mile Bay Marina. And he's proposing an RV park / campground and marina docking for 16 boats, as well as a boat launch. Here's the property. I outlined the property. There is a house up here, but they're showing it on a separate parcel from on their site plan. So the project is a special use permit in the AR zone. RVs are allowed in the AR zone, the agricultural rural residential zone. And then there's a waterfront zone along the waterfront, and RVs are not allowed there. But that's where the docks and boat launch are shown. So you kind of zoom in here. Again, we're west of the hamlet of 3 Mile Bay, and you can see the waterfront part here. This I think was a road or driveway built a few years ago. He's got one now that comes directly from 12, not near this house. But I did take some photos of the area, and this is Route 12E, and you can kind of tell that it slopes toward the lake or sort of steps down toward the lake. So it's not the best view, but this is that house I was mentioning on the drawing or the aerial, just to give you an idea of where we are. So, so the project will consist of this, generally this area. This is that one driveway I was mentioning. It looks fairly new to me, and it's quite narrow. But on the drawing, on the site plan, it's obviously wider and so on. But this is a good reference for visual purposes. And you can see there's not a lot of vegetation or trees or brush along 12E. And, there's some brush and some trees, but, mainly it's fairly open. So this is the site plan submitted, and Route 12E is along the left here. So it's on its side just so you can see it better. But they're showing a 20-foot access road throughout the whole site. These are the RV sites. There's 121, and these are the docks, the 16 docks, and then a boat launch. They're showing 2 cabins on the site. I'm not sure they actually exist. I think one does, and there might be a foundation, but the cabins are not really addressed in the town zoning law right now. So I'm told that that they were proposing 9 cabins. I'm told those are not part of the application. So the 9 aren't on the site plan, but they are in the application still. So we have a comment about that. But you can see also that there's a gazebo here. There are some playgrounds to here, and then a recreation area here. They're also showing the approximate septic dispersion areas, sort of in the brown. Those are leach fields. There is not sewer in the area. There is a water district nearby. I'm told it's going to be extended to provide water to the park. So this is kind of the lay of the land. The yellow dashed line is the zoning district boundary as estimated by the applicant. So to the left is the AR zone where RVs are allowed. And then the waterfront zone is to the right, and that's where RVs are not allowed, just to give you an idea. I spoke with New York State Department of Health, spoke with New York State Department of Transportation. I spoke with New York State Department of Environmental Conservation about the docks and the boat launch. So our comments sort of fall in those areas. So there will be New York State Department of Health approval is required. And then obviously New York State Department of Transportation approval is required to provide the access onto Route 12E. And I'm pretty sure this would not meet their standards. You know, usually it's supposed to be 20 to 24 feet wide for a commercial driveway. And they don't really like gravel on next to their road and so on. So there will be some work to get that up to their standards. And they will look at traffic and so on. Also, I'm told oh, I forgot to zoom in. But so here's a zoom in of the docks and the cabin or cabins and a gazebo and some of the parking and bathhouse. We also noticed on the site visit that there's a 2-story, some kind of a taller building on the property that is not shown on the drawing. And we weren't sure what it was. I didn't see it, but my boss went out and he saw he has a taller truck than I have a car. Anyway, so they'll need to clarify what is exactly on the site right now and so on. So as far as the comments, I mentioned Department of Health, DOT, DEC, stormwater pollution prevention plan is required for New York State DEC review whenever you disturb an acre or more. Also, this section of New York State Route 12E is part of the Seaway Trail Scenic Byway, so that should be taken into account when reviewing the project. Then some of the local comments we had that the local board should ensure the town's recreational vehicle park standards are met. You know, the town has a number of standards and they do apply to the recreation area, playgrounds and other recreation areas. They should meet the town standard of 8% of the gross site area of the park. There are some other standards in there that apply, such as the width of the road, of the access roads need to be 20 feet. So next, I'm noting that the application submitted refers to 9 proposed cabins. And those cabins, if the local board approves the project, it should specify the number and types of uses that are approved in regards to the RV sites, docks, etc. We want to make sure that the town approves what is allowed, and then also we just want to make sure the town approves what is appropriate and is not a sort of inherently approving something. Just be specific on that. Also, landscaping or buffering should be considered to screen the park from New York State Route 12E and from adjacent properties. There are a number of homes and seasonal properties in the area. Then we were noting a stockade fence, hedge, or other physical barrier could be used along the side property lines if warranted. I was noting how open it is. And lastly, the local board should request a site plan that shows all existing structures on the parcel. There appears to be two-story structure currently near the shoreline that is not shown on the site plan. If it is to be removed, then it should be so indicated. And that's all I had on the project.
Is there someone from the town that wishes to speak?
Yes, I would like to speak.
Okay.
I'm Julia Gosher. I'm on the Town of Limetown Board and used to live right across from where this project is. And I, needless to say, have several concerns about it. Many of them, I'm sure, cannot be legally addressed because it's more opinion. But this proposed project and its access road are just east of a blind hill on Route 12E. So we already have a lot of accidents with people coming off of Swamp Road because of this blind spot. And this one is even worse. I'm aware that this is something that the DOT will have to address, but I wanted you to be aware of it. Another thing that really concerns me is that they are proposing this project as a recreational site with docks and a marina. And I have talked to probably close to 20 people who kayak or canoe in this area because it's a favorite area for that type of activity. And they've all told me the same thing, that there is a ledge of bedrock that goes out around 100 feet into the water there, which would make a marina right there absolutely impossible unless you were allowed to blast it. Now, again, I would assume Army Corps will address this issue, but my concern is that they're presenting this site plan in a less than sincere manner because they have developed other recreational parks in Jefferson County and certainly must be aware that that spot is not a spot where you can put a marina. I have personally spoken to them about this at our local planning board meetings and did not get a polite reply. So that's an extreme concern to me because when somebody presents a site plan for something this involved, I want to be able to trust that that is actually the plan that is going to come to fruition. My other concern is that being that it is on a state scenic byway and it is the only really view shed left in the between Chameau and Cape Vincent. It's the only open view shed left of the lake. Now, I'm not saying that these RVs would necessarily block that view. I'm not sure of that, but I just feel that it doesn't really fit in with the appearance of this scenic byway. that's an opinion, and I suppose as a board member, I should be more neutral. But I am concerned about the attractiveness of our town. It's always a difficult situation to keep a main highway looking attractive for many reasons. And I don't think this would contribute to that.
Andy, what is the responsibilities concerning the scenic byway? Is there any teeth in that law or anything?
Well, it's unfortunately, it's up to each individual town. Some of the towns have embraced that status and adopted part of their zoning that kind of gives them more teeth, as you say. Lyme has done that in their comprehensive plan. They addressed the scenic byway and visual issues, but in their zoning law, it's not really a thing that they've embraced. And they are working on updating their zoning law, and they realize that they have a number of issues to address based on the last, 20 years of development and change and understanding of what may happen in the future, like more solar and different things, so different trends. But as far as the Seaway Trail itself, they've never really published a lot of things that planners can use in their zoning laws. It's been a bit of a struggle to see how we can embrace and preserve that status, like other states have. Other states have more things that can help us more so. So what we always say is consider that it's there, and I admit it's not a lot to go on, but certainly the local residents are there because of how scenic it is, and those are things you can't really deny. So I'm not sure I have a good answer for you on that. Julia, would you like to add to that, or somehow?
Just for the sake of information, I would like everybody to be aware that last fall, we were presented with a petition from local residents who are, very much against this project. And we have approximately 200 names on that petition, which is well more than the population of the hamlet of 3 Mile Bay.
Oh.
Well, we've made, or the staff has made many items that need to be addressed. What type of response do you think you're going to get from your planning board, and who has the final say on this, the planning board or the town board?
To be perfectly honest, I'm really not sure about that because it is not PPD. I believe the planning board does, but I'm not really sure about that. I mean, it's not that often that we deal with a project of this size. But I am extremely concerned about what this project will do to this area and to our town. Needless to say, there are people also who are very much in favor of it, businesses. And also, I would like to clarify that it is my understanding that this project cannot be connected to the current water line. It is beyond that water line. So there is a water line extension being proposed going from the Water District 2 down towards County Route 57, because the people all along there are desperately in need of water. And it is my understanding that this project would have to be part of that proposed water district. which it has two sides to that coin. It would mean that if he wanted to do it, it probably would be a longer period of time before he could get water. The flip side is that it would add probably the equivalent of 40 users to that water district, which might make it more viable in terms of financing. But I think he may be under the assumption that he can hook right up to the current water district, and that is not the case.
Has that
Okay.
been made known to him, to the applicant? I mean,
I'm not
obviously,
sure about that.
obviously you can't have that project without public water. You got to get public water to those folks. And then you need what's going to look like a very large septic system to handle
Exactly.
all that.
He also, I do know that he has never come before the water board.
Oh,
Is that a separate board?
Yes.
Separate from your town board and your planning board?
Yes, we have a separate water board that oversees the 5 water districts in the town of Lyme. They do a fantastic job.
Do they have approval authority to, approve that hookup or what?
Well, they can, the approval process goes way beyond them because of the funding.
Yeah, well, okay. So the
They-
water district doesn't go to them yet.
No,
No, so the town and your water district have got a lot to do before this project can get going.
right.
Personally, to me, it looks pretty crowded in there. I don't know how a guy's going to back his trailer into some of those lots, but whatever. But Andy, any other comments?
Mr. Cohen,
Go ahead, let
Go-
Mrs. Cooper.
go ahead, Julia.
Let her speak, Andy, then.
sure.
What was your
Mr.
final comment there?
yes, Mr. Cohen does have another recreational vehicle park on 179 called the Chameau, whatever. It's in a wooded area. So you barely see it from 179. He has recently purchased Sportsman's Hideaway, which is another RV park next door to that one. And he is working on that. But they are such a different scenario because they are pretty much enclosed in woods.
Mhm.
So you don't have the effect on the view shed.
Okay, Andy, you had something else to say?
Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention earlier, the town did a moratorium on, I think, RV parks and campgrounds for a year. And the intent of that was to develop either regulations or address the uses. But various things happened that delayed that process. So the moratorium ended, and I think that's why the project is proposed now. But as I say, they're initiating the update process. But this one's sort of coming in now, so I don't know exactly how that'll be affected or not. But just so that you
Hello.
remember that moratorium.
Well,
Yeah,
if the-
this is our Datterman
go ahead, Art.
looking over the things here. I think, between the Department of Health, DOT, and DEC, I would assume that a lot of these issues would have to be addressed and taken care of before the whole operation could start anyway.
I agree with you. There are an awful lot of issues that the town itself has that need to be corrected before they can grant their approval. I think our process has been to flesh out these needs for additional approvals. And we make the comment that it's, again, your local authority or your local concern to to address these issues and get them taken care of before the project can go ahead. Okay?
I greatly appreciate your input.
Well, I know the position you're in, and you've got a lot of boards there to hopefully the town can exert their influence and get those boards to act in an appropriate fashion. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, good. All right. Anybody else then? I'm going to make a motion for local approval. Anybody else comments or anything? All right. Staff has made recommendation that this is a project of local concern only, with our numerous comments to be returned to the applicant. I made that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second. Deb?
Okay, John had his hand up first. We'll get you next
Okay.
time, Deb. Okay. Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. It's going to go back to your local jurisdictions now, and I hope you can exert your influence that way. Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Where are we up to now, Andy?
I think we're going to go to the town of Hounsfield. We had at least one or two media persons interested in that. I think, does it make sense to do that one now?
All right.
Okay.
Again, the media may be interested, but okay, go ahead. Wherever you are,
Well,
Andy, go to it.
I mean, we have other people on the call. I'm not aware who they are. There's phone numbers.
Mhm.
If it's applicants, I guess they're just going to have to wait because I don't know who's been added lately.
All right. Well, let's just go in numerical order then for the rest of the projects. There, we got.
Okay.
We got 6 more projects to do. Let's do them in numerical order. Is that all right?
Sure. So the first one up is the town of Adams.
Yes.
Yeah. Sarah?
I see a lot of people out there, but I don't see Sarah doing anything yet.
Well, she's going to share her screen in a second.
I don't mean that in a negative thing. My screen is just showing that Sarah's there.
Right.
Yeah, I'm having a little difficulty here because I don't know what I just did. What do you see now?
Just your purple letter with an S in it. Once in a while,
Okay.
it blinks back and forth. Andy, can you help her?
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'll go down the hall and help. Yep.
Is there anybody from the public or press that's concerned with this application though? Guess not, so okay. We'll just cover it as a planning board action. Okay, at least we got a town of Adams map on the screen now.
Can you hear me now? Sorry.
Yes,
Okay. Do you see the town of Adams location map?
yes.
Yes,
And
but
do
we
you see
see your
anything
next, your next screen
Okay.
is there too.
Oh, shoot.
Okay.
Hold on. Okay, now what do you see?
Good.
Now we're
You're
good.
good now.
Now we're good. Okay, sorry about that. This is a moratorium on business developments within the Hamlet district of the town of Adams. So obviously, we got to get into the Hamlet district. The Hamlet district is
Just-
shown
just-
in
Sarah,
pink.
just a minute there. as long as we're handling these 6, we're going to do it with one motion at the end. Is that okay to everybody, or are we going to take each project separately? I don't
Okay
hear the
with me.
press or anybody talking, so. All right, so
I
we
think
are
it's
going
fine.
to take all 6 of these projects and treat them with one resolution at the end of the meeting, right?
Okay,
Okay,
sounds good.
good. Okay, sorry to
Okay,
interrupt.
so
Go ahead.
that's all right. So the Hamlet zoning district is shown in pink. Right smack in the middle of the town of Adams, which most of us would consider Adams Center. I'm gonna zoom in on this. Okay, here we have, this is Route 11 going right up the middle of Adams Center, right here. This is New York State Route 177 coming across. I think it's actually called South Harbor Road when it goes out that way. So here's Adams Center. Everything in the pink is considered Hamlet District. And it is on both sides of Route 11. Hold on, I don't have my pointer. Okay, so on both sides of Route 11 when we're south of 177. When we go up to the north, it's mostly just on this east side of Route 11. This goes all the way up north to this street right here, which is called North Street and Route 11. And it goes out here along 177. It pretty much encompasses all the residential properties going out here towards that gas station and in through here. It also includes the Wilson Building and the elementary school for South Jeff School District. And let's see. So the moratorium is going to be for 1 year to not allow any business uses in the Hamlet district. So this is from their zoning law, Town of Adams. In the Hamlet district, this is what requires site plan review uses: essential services, outdoor rec, hotels, motels, bed and breakfasts, restaurants, automobile service station, institutional uses, funeral homes, offices, or small retail. So one of our comments would be, what exactly are you considering a business use? Because the term business is not defined in the local, in the town zoning law. So the town board should identify the specific uses that are going to be affected by this moratorium. Perhaps using these uses that are listed in the zoning law. Sorry. And the local board should ensure the moratorium meets the New York State DOS criteria for land use moratoria prior to adoption. And these include: 1, have a reasonable time frame as measured by the action to be accomplished during the term; have a public purpose justifying the moratorium; 3, address a situation where the burden imposed by the moratorium is shared by the public at large; 4, strictly adhere to the procedure for adoption laid down by the enabling acts; and 5, have a certain time period when the moratorium will expire. Any questions on that one? Okay.
Okay,
So I think now we're going to Andy. So bear with me for a second. Okay, Andy, you can take over.
Okay. Give me a second. Okay, so now we're in the town of Alexandria. Can you hear me?
did you ask a question, Andy?
Yeah, can you hear me? I was
Yes.
making sure. Okay, so we're in the town of Alexandria, and the project is a car wash at the Swan Bay RV park. Just trying to find the file. Here we go. So it's the Swan Bay, used to be the Swan Bay Beach Club years ago. And it's right just past 81 on Route 12. And this is the RV park we reviewed a number of years ago. So now they want to add a car wash. It's going to have two automatic bay car wash, 3 bay RV wash, and then a pet wash area. So this is Route 12, and this is Price Chopper, and so on. So you're familiar with the area. So as you look closer at the site, you know, you've got the entrance. There's a small store there. It's almost like camping related items are in there and so on. And the project will be here. This is Dollar General, and this is that gas station just past 81. So I took a picture last week. These 2 flagpoles are on the site plan, so that's my reference point there. And so, you know, you get an idea. The RV park is back here. There's a playground. There's, you know, related things to RV parks. And this is their main sign. So you got the big swan or whatever it is. And this is the current entrance road. And they would want to use that same entrance road. And this is that, you know, gift shop, you know, whatever you need for camping type store. This is the overall site plan, just showing the whole park. And then this is the car wash area and that single entrance. So this is zoomed in site plan on that particular area. So we've got the entrance road, that office / store. Then this is the car wash. So you would enter it from this paved roadway and come in this direction. So the car wash X section is here, and then the RVs are here, and the pet wash is here. So you can get an idea that the traffic flow really has to come from this direction in order to work. And then they would exit this way. But, you know, as you look at this, the parking for the store is actually on this side of the entrance road. Let me go back to that aerial. So right now, or 2 years ago, this was the parking for the store. Maybe the employees parked in the rear. But we see this location of the parking as being problematic because with the site plan, you're changing the orientation, so you're moving it over, but you're still having to cross RVs or whoever's driving in, even in a wheelchair. This handicap space here, we just think that's not a good idea the way that is. And then you're coming in with RVs and you're maybe trying to back out and get out of here. I don't know. Again, we're not traffic engineers, but that was one of the things we noted. Also, there's existing pine trees. Then those 2 flagpoles are here, and then I suppose they're adding a couple more trees here. I forgot to mention the vacuums are back here. So they are going to manage stormwater with some dry swales along here. And then there are some small trees along this paved roadway. But it's zoned business, so it's allowed. So I'm going to go over the staff report. The Jefferson County building permit will be required. New York State DOT should be contacted regarding potential drainage impacts along New York State Route 12. You know, they won't review an access point, but the drainage could affect their drainage. So that's where that comment is from. Also, we're noting that this section of New York State Route 12 is also the Seaway Trail Scenic Byway. So that should be taken into account when reviewing the project. Then the first local comment involves that proposed entrance closest to 12. We're saying may present conflicts with the internal traffic flow that could impact New York State Route 12. And by that, I mean, if you're trying to queue into the car wash and you're not sure where to go, and then people start backing up into 12, and that's not a good thing. We've seen that in other car washes. So the queuing design is good. You know, you could actually queue all the way on this roadway. So we're saying that's good, but this entrance here, we're thinking could present some conflict. So we're saying that the local board should consider eliminating this access, which would enhance traffic flow and limit the possibility of bottlenecks. The site is designed for efficient traffic flow by accessing the site by the rear driveway. Also, the site plan shows parking for the existing retail store to be located near this access, which is across from the driveway from the store. There appears to be a parking area directly behind the store, at least on the aerial. To improve pedestrian safety and traffic flow, the local board should require that parking for the store be located in this area, which would be behind it. Also, we're noting proposed drainage facility reviewed by the town engineer to ensure their adequacy. Also, the local board should determine whether additional landscaping or buffering should be provided along Route 12. Also, any lighting details should be provided, and a photometric plan should be performed to ensure off-site glare does not impact adjacent properties and the state highway. And we didn't see any signage proposed, but that should meet town zoning regulations as well. So that's what I had on that project.
Okay. Anybody questions or comments? Okay. Moving on to page 3.
Yeah. So this project is in the village of Clayton. It's a proposal to demolish 2 homes and construct an 80 by 100 foot marina store. So it'd be the French Creek Marina would have their store right on 12E in the village. It is a site plan review in this zone, which is the marine development zone. And Route 12 is along here. And this is French Creek Marina. And they're, as I said, they're taking these houses down to build a store with a storefront on this road. But you can see there are quite a few other homes in the area here, sort of all around the site. And as I zoom in, you can get a pretty good idea. These are the 2 homes they'll remove. So these are the 2 homes they're demolishing. And you can see behind is the French Creek Marina buildings. That's one. Then you can see that there are 2. Now this house will remain, so that will still be a house. This is a site plan, so we're seeing the overall building. It'll also include 2 tenants, so these smaller stores are going to be some kind of a tenant. They don't know who yet, but this will be the main footprint of the French Creek Marina store. And they're proposing 8 parking spaces and 2 driveway entrances, which I'm not sure DOT will allow that. Also, I was noting it's hard to tell, but the property slopes down towards French Creek from the highway. Again, it's hard to tell, but it does slope a fair amount. So I wasn't sure from this if they were going to fill that and make it all flat, or how that was going to affect drainage in the area, especially the adjacent homes. So that's one of our comments. But we're noting that DOT must be contacted because a work permit is required for the proposed commercial driveways and for the fill that could alter drainage in the area. So local comments, we were saying that the local board should consider requiring one entrance to be utilized to limit the number of traffic conflict points on State Street. The current grade of the site slopes downward from State Street, so drainage facilities should be provided and reviewed by the village engineer to ensure the neighboring properties in French Creek will not be impacted by any increase in runoff. Also, they should consider landscaping, or they should require landscaping and buffering to be provided on both sides to minimize the visual impact on the adjacent homes. Small retail service requires one parking space for every 200 square feet of building area. So that would be about 40 spaces. So an area variance may be needed. Also, any proposed lighting and signage should meet village standards and avoid glare onto the public roadway and nearby residences. Lighting details and a photometric plan should be provided. So that's what I had on it.
Questions, comments? Okay, moving on to page 4.
Okay. The next project is in the town of Hounsfield, and it is a the applicant is Conval
Andy?
Energy. Yes.
Andy? Are
Yeah.
we doing Henderson next?
You missed
Oh,
the
I'm
one
sorry.
from Henderson.
I'm sorry. Yep. Okay, I'll stop now. Got ahead of myself.
Sorry.
Yeah, page 4 is the Henderson, right?
Yep. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. What do you see? Town of Henderson location map?
Yeah,
Okay, here we go. This is site plan review to reopen an existing restaurant in the town of Henderson. The project site is located on 7641 New York State Route 3. And it's way down here. Sorry, pointer option. Right there. This is New York State Route 3. This is County Route 152. Here's the project site. It used to be a restaurant called Cooper's Landing. This is Jim's Plumbing, and this is Rhodes Nursery. To get an idea of where we're at here. Pretty much, okay, the site is zoned AR 40, which is agricultural rural zoning, residential zoning. It allows restaurants with site plan review. It's surrounded by rural residential and agricultural uses, and then the Jim's Plumbing office is right here. This is just a zoomed in picture on it. There's an existing driveway. There's existing parking in the front. This is a fence. This is the restaurant. The septic connects back here. This is a leach field. There's a couple trees. About it. This photo shows, this is from Route 3. You can see the driveway and the parking area. They're starting to work on the renovations. This kind of shows a little bit of the ditch out here on Route 3 and all the parking area there. This just zooms in on the restaurant. They're not proposing to change the outside. These are interior modifications that they're doing, as far as we know. This is the site plan the applicant submitted. Again, you got Route 3 down here. This is the existing driveway and the existing parking area. The existing building is orange. There's your connection of your septic connection and your leach field. This is a well right here in blue. This is a propane tank. Pretty much all that stuff is existing. He does say that there are 35 parking spaces and 3 handicap spaces. They're not identified on here. nor are they scaled off. That's one of our comments. For our county and state comments, we have a highway work permit will be required. If any of the changes are proposed to the existing driveway, they might not be. New York State Department of Health review is required for a proposed restaurant. And an ag data statement is required as the project site is located within 500 feet of 2 farm operations that are in New York State certified ag districts. And for local comments, we said that all parking shall conform to the town zoning law, which is 1 space per 100 square feet of eating area. In addition, each space should be depicted on the site plan, and the minimum size for each space is 10 feet by 20 feet. Any questions on that?
Okay. Nobody? No
Okay.
questions, comments? Okay. Moving on to page 5.
Back to Andy.
Okay. All right. So now we're in the town of Hounsfield, and this is proposed by Conval Energy. They're proposing a solar manufacturing plant, solar panels, 330,000 square feet. It's located in the airport business park right next to the airport. So it's on New York State Route 12F. It's zoned mostly multi-use and industrial. And I'm not sure the exact number of employees, but it's over 200. And they're going to have it in working 3 shifts, so shift work. This is the location of the building. I wanted to show it on here exactly so that you can see how it's how proximate it is to the runways on the airport. So that's one of our considerations. And this is 12F along here. So it'll have a loop road coming around, and you'll see that on the site plan. But this is, I zoomed in just to give you an idea, and then this is a building location here. So 2 years ago, they were working a little bit on that road. So here were pictures I took the other day of the site, and they're, clearing it and so on, and moving gravel and things right now. And this is just a construction entrance. It's not the actual roadway. So here's the site plan. Now, we did receive a few versions. This is the latest one, so it is updated. This is the loop road that originally was going to serve a business park and have a number of smaller industries in it, but obviously with this proposal, that it kind of changes what's going to happen. But so you can see the parking is on the east side of the building, and then the loading docks are on the west side, and this is pavement, the gray, and then this funny looking black marks, those are gravel areas. So you'll be able to circulate around the building if necessary. These are some dry ponds, and in here, this here is these are dry swales. So it's better to manage water, not having a retention pond where you have standing water near an airport, because you don't want geese to congregate. So that's one of the considerations, being near an airport. So that's good that they're proposing it that way. Also, you got some existing federal wetlands, and then a non-jurisdictional wetland. So they're working through that process with the Corps of Engineers of doing what they want to do for those things. Let's see. And, oh, so the main entrance is over here, and you'll see that. But we also mapped the areas around the airport where the FAA has recommended densities of residential and also industrial workers. So as you can imagine, the area 1, the bluish at the end of the runway, that's where they have the least amount of homes recommended and workers and so on. So those are the ones you want to avoid with this type of thing. But then areas 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, there's various numbers of densities. So area 3 it ranges from 25 to 40 workers per acre, and then area 6 can be under 100. So again, that's just another consideration I'll talk about later. This is a rendering showing the lighting around the building, and they also submitted a photometric plan. So on the photometric plan, there are light intensity numbers, the ratings around, and they look pretty low compared to a normal commercial, like a gas station. They seem to be a lot brighter. So it looks like they're taking the airport into account, but lighting is another issue where if it's too bright near the runway, then the pilot has a hard time with the visual aspect of landing. We have a visual runway approach procedures at our airport. So bright lights are another thing you want to avoid. I'm just going to keep going. So this is the appearance of the building from the north. So this would be what you're going to see from Route 12. So, just a number of windows and a few doors and overhead doors. These accesses are for equipment maintenance and also fire exits and things like that. So those connect to those gravel roads. This is the west elevation where the loading docks will be. So you can see that it's a 2-story building. I think it's 35 feet high. Then to the south, there's some partial elevations here just to demonstrate the doors and like some of the glass atriums and so on. Then this one is the south elevation. So this will face that runway, this building here, how it looks like that, and this one. These would fit together if you had a bigger screen. And then this is the east elevation where the parking lot is and the main entrance and so on. So just to give you an idea what the building looks like. Some other things they submitted. They did submit a traffic study that was completed in 2017 for the overall business park idea. And so they studied, or they estimated traffic levels based on, 6 or 7 small buildings and the employees. And they looked at the impacts on all the intersections in the area and how their level of service would either not be degraded or if they would be. So they, it was a fairly thorough traffic study. So they submitted that for this. I didn't see where they amended it to include discussions about this particular use and number of employees and so on. It seemed like the numbers they had were greater than what this might generate. But obviously, I'm not a traffic engineer, and I wouldn't be able to make that call. So somebody with better credentials would want to look at that and make sure. And I assume DOT will be doing that. They also submitted a SWIP, which is the Stormwater Pollution Prevention Plan. They did a seeker, and the town is coordinating the coordinated review with seeker. And so the airport commented on a number of the issues that they would want to be addressed. such as site lighting, stormwater, the tall structures notification, which is Form 7460-1. And then, so that has to do with the height of the structures. Then there's another aspect of that, which includes construction phases. So whether there are cranes to be used, because if you have cranes, you want to make sure you know when and where so that the planes can avoid those cranes. And he also mentioned the airport impact zones, which is what I just presented. So the land use compatibility with the airport. So with seeker, they're looking at those things and commenting that they should be addressed. And then we'll sort of do the same thing just to be thorough about our county aspect of issues. So are there any questions so far, or should I go through the issues?
No, go through them and the way they
Okay.
are.
All right.
Also, I didn't realize that you got a different recommendation for this project as approval. So finish up
All
your
right.
comments and then we'll have to vote on this one separately.
Okay. Yes. So county state issue, the first one was due to the close proximity of the Watertown International Airport and both its runways, airport compatibility should be taken into account. The FAA, which is the Federal Aviation Administration, has recommendations regarding outdoor lighting, wildlife attractants such as retention areas or ponds, land use compatibility, structure heights, and crane use during construction are some of the considerations. Also, a New York State DOT highway work permit is required for the proposed road entrances onto Route 12F. A traffic study with the original business park design was submitted. Should be determined whether the proposed project scope will be within the parameters discussed in the traffic study. Also, a Jefferson County building permit will be required. U.S. Army Corps of Engineers permit has been applied for regarding the wetland disturbances. Local comments, landscaping or screening should be provided to buffer the nearby residences as the proposed large structure contrasts with the surrounding land uses, particularly across Route 12F. Also, we're noting the town's parking standard for industrial uses requires 1 space per 500 square feet of net floor area. The local board should verify the provided parking is adequate. So those are what we had for comment.
Okay. So who's making the application here? The energy people or Convolt?
Yes, Convolt, yes.
Yeah. Did they sit down with the airport with all these comments in mind, and has the airport pretty well addressed those already?
I'm not sure if they've sat down with them. I do know that Grant Susi, the airport manager, was working with our office to make sure what issues needed to be addressed. And in the seeker form, or their letter back to the town, he included links to educate anyone on all of those issues.
Okay.
So I think it hopefully will be addressed, but that's where our motion comes in. We want to, the staff thinks it should be a motion of approval with the condition that all those recommended standards are met because of the proximity of the project to the 2 airport runways. And if you aren't compatible with the airport and the runways, then you could limit the airport operation. So we're hoping that is not going to happen and that it'll be compatible. So, I think they have to work out some of the details and make sure. I have no reason to think that it won't happen, but we'd like to make sure that it does happen.
Okay, I agree with you there.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that, the airport is at least made all these comments to the applicant, and the applicant and the town will basically have to enforce these standards with their approval process. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem is it's the way this process works is our comments go to the town. The seeker comments go back to the town. It's up to the town to finish the process with the applicant.
Right.
So that's where, you know, I guess there's a little bit of uncertainty. But they have their engineering firm is looking at the seeker and administering it. So, you know, I feel pretty good. But I'd like to say it will happen. I just, you never know. So
Yeah. Okay.
One thing I'd like to add is that I'm on the JCIDA board, which hasn't yet, but is going to be discussing financing for this project. So I believe I probably should abstain at this point, unless somebody doesn't see that as a problem.
Well, how many staff people, or not staff people, how many planning board members do we still have? Do we have a quorum if someone leaves, or is everybody still here?
I'm still here, Dave.
Okay, Cliff and Charlene, Jim. All
I
right,
think you'd have 7, Dave.
yeah, we started with 7, right? And if Lisa.
I think we had 8.
Excuse me?
I think you had 8.
Okay, all right. Okay,
This is Randy. I'm still here.
okay, all right. If you feel the need to abstain, okay, Lisa. All right. Again, then, I'm going to make a motion. The staff recommends that this is a project. We approve this project with the recommended FAA standards and other comments as necessary back to the town. Is there a second?
I'll second Dave.
Who was that? Oh, Deb. Okay, good. All right, Debbie. All those in favor? Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? Okay.
It's one
Make
extension.
sure those comments go back, Andy, there, as appropriate.
yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I think we're at page 7 now.
Yeah.
Taking care of the 3. Okay. The city of Watertown.
Okay, can you hear me?
Going to give you a problem, Lisa?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
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 You're talking about the one in Watertown?
Yeah. The housing authority.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. We don't have any.
Actually, Lisa,
oversight.
Hang on
this
just a
is an
minute.
area
Scott.
variance.
Right, so that shouldn't come before us.
Okay.
No, it should just go to your zoning board of appeals.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay, go to it, sir.
Okay, this is an area variance request to reduce the street side yard setback at East Hills, which is located at the end of Ohio Street and the corner of Eastern Boulevard, over here in the eastern section of the city. Here we have Ohio Street coming to an end here. We have Eastern Boulevard right here, Walker Ave here. We have East Hill Apartments here. The part that's highlighted is the parcel. They have a couple different parcels out there in that apartment complex. Here it's zoomed out a little. You can, again, see Ohio Street comes to an end here. These are all the East Hill Apartments. This apartment building right here is building number 9. And where the star is where the development is going to be. So, like I said, it's a request to reduce the, I guess you call it the street side setback, front side setbacks to the street. This is building 9. This is their backyards. And right here is where the new structure is going to be, in this area, up against Ohio, towards Ohio Street. This is a better view. You can see Ohio Street, the sidewalk, and there's a fence, and there's a couple utilities back there. They're going to be proposing an 89 square foot boiler room addition right in here. This is, again, building 9. This is the front sides of the buildings. They have this handicap accessible ramp, and then they all have sidewalks to their front doors in this back area. And right here where you have your meters, this is where the room addition is going to be. And of course, they're supposed to have a 20-foot setback from Ohio Street. And they're not going to have that setback with this addition. So here's Ohio Street. The orange is existing building number 9. This is another building. You can see the sidewalks back between the buildings where they enter each building. This is that handicap ramp that I showed you in the photo. And this is a sidewalk along Ohio Street. The project will also include improvements to this handicap ramp and the sidewalks. But right here is the proposed boiler room addition. It's going to be set back 8.5 feet, where the zoning law requires 20 foot on the street side. The Housing Authority plans to phase out the central boiler system in the apartment complexes. The reason why the Housing Authority wants to put the boiler room right here is because of its accessibility to the utility chase underneath these apartments and the proximity to gas and water mains that are already right here in Ohio Street. And in terms of area variances, we have our standard comment that says in reviewing the area variance, the local board should consider the benefit of the applicant as weighed against the detriment to health, safety, and welfare of the community using the 5 factors for an area variance as stated in New York State city law. Any questions on that one?
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So
All
if
right.
you're going to make a motion, you'd want to include all those other ones with the exception of Convolt.
Yeah, I'm going to make
Yeah.
a motion that this applies to projects 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8. We have previously done 5, 6, and 7. So I'll make a motion that these are actions of local concern only, together with our comments to be returned to the applicant as appropriate.
I'll second. Lisa?
Lisa, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, they're carried. Okay. We're getting to you in just a minute here, Lisa, but we got one financial thing right away here. Andy, you all set with us?
Yes, one more thing. Yep.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk about the St. Lawrence Valley Educational TV Council, or better known as WPBS. They applied for they're applying for funding from USDA Rural Development for a grant to pay for these 4 virtual reality productions to simulate work assignments to make employee training more efficient. 4 employment clusters include agriculture and food processing, healthcare, support roles, light manufacturing and industrial assembly, and outdoor recreation, tourism, and hospitality. And they're doing this to sort of build their capacity to create these productions. And the purpose of them is to use them for screening of potential workers in these areas, maybe rule out things that they may not want to do until they, see how it is, but not, you end up working in a field and then, oh, geez, I don't like this. So they're using it in a number of ways. Also to encourage people to increase their enthusiasm for career planning through making the process more game-like, or gamification, they say. Especially valuable to reach youth with a video game-like experience. Encourage learners to access additional resources and stimulate their exploration of potential career directions. So it's a number of things they want to use this for, and then eventually build the capacity to do more of it. So the federal funds are $500,000, and they're self-funding $49,000. So that's the project total is $549,592. I can go into more, but I think that's probably enough.
Well, it's always been our policy to send a letter of support where we're not doing approval or anything. We're just supporting this because the money's going to be spent in Jefferson County. Do the other two counties have to take the same action, or we?
I don't know. You know, that some counties don't participate in the clearinghouse of this process.
Oh, okay.
So I have no idea. Actually.
Okay. Well, then I'll make the motion that the letter of support being sent to who goes to the fact that we're spending the money in Jefferson County. Yes.
Okay.
Can I have a second, please? John Strong. Okay. All those in favor of the letter of support? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Okay. Anything else, Andy?
No, sir.
Okay. Lisa.
Hey,
Hey.
just before we
Oh,
close,
okay.
this is Art Gadman. I do have a question. How is the staffing coming along at the county?
Well, we interviewed 2 secretary applicants, and then one of them found another job. So, I mean, we're on the case, you know. I'm not sure about the other staff positions. Mike could speak to that, but maybe he can update us next month.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, Art.
Yep.
I thought maybe you're looking for another job.
Not really.
Okay. Lisa,
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
who's going to second it? I'll second it. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We are
Aye.
adjourned. Thank you, folks. It was a long meeting, but
Thank you.
we got everything done. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Again, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.